Well, hello sports fans, I'm Harry, and I'd like to welcome you to Harry's Stuff and Such. Today I plan on doing the X-axis assembly of my Prusa i3 Mark III. And so just stick around and watch how it's done. And welcome back. As I said in the intro, I plan on doing the X-axis assembly of my original Prusa i3 Mark III today. So let's get started on the X-axis assembly. Okay, so as I said in the intro, this is part 3, which is the X-axis assembly. Both the idler and the motor holder. So as you can see, I've already got the ends, I've got my bearings and so forth, the tools that I need. So the first thing you're going to need is this end is where the X-axis motor will go. There's your opposite end, and you've got to get your 4 bearings, 2 in each one of the printed parts. So you've got a total of 4 bearings. Now you've got to get these in the right direction. So you want to push these in from the top, not from the bottom. There's a little lip in the bottom to catch them. So you want to push them in and not too hard. You know, make sure that they'll go, but don't overdo it. You don't want to break the part. You don't want to mess up the bearing. Also, whenever you're putting in there, you know that when you're looking into the bearing, and I can't show you that on the camera, but when you're looking inside the linear bearing, you've got 4 rows of small ball bearings so that the rod will slide nice and smooth. So you've got 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So when you put in the first one, notice where those lines of bearings are, so that when you put in the second one, you can kind of, instead of getting them in line, kind of rotate the second one about 45 degrees so that its bearings are kind of in between the other. That gives you a nice, you know, that way the bearings aren't all lined up together. And so that kind of makes it nice on the rod, so it gives you good connection or good trap, so that you get a lot of connection to the rod. So, okay. All right, so let's try this and see if it gets it in there. So, there goes the first bearing. No problem. Alright, so I'm going to try to line the little small row of bearings inside the linear LU, so that, and let's see, there's the top, so that would put them right in line, and that gives them about 45 degrees. That's just about right. So push that through. Make sure it goes through to the bottom where you have that lip. There we go. There. So you can see I pushed it all the way through till it's touching the lip. Keeps it from coming out. Alright. Let's try to do that to the other side. So, like I said, you're going to push the first one in, and you'll notice there's the top, and there is a little lip, so you want to place the first one, get it started. That way you can kind of look at where the bearing is, and so when you start the second one, instead of having all the bearings lined up in a row, rotate it so that it's about 45 degrees. You can kind of look down and see, and then go ahead and that looks good. Go ahead and push that in. So there. we've got the bearings in. Bearings are in. Now, depending on which one of these you have, determines what part of the instruction you're doing. So in my case, I've got the tensioner assembly. I've got this, so you'll see, I'll turn it up here. You've got you got the hole for a screw here, nut here. And if you've got that, this is the part you need to follow through. So you stick the nut in there, take the screw, again this is a 3mm, get it started. Yeah, just that, because you don't want the screw to protrude all the way through, come out this hole. So you want to back it out, make sure it's not in that hole. You'll adjust that a little later. Okay. Down in for the XN idler. For that, you'll need the smooth idler. You'll need the 18mm screw, and you'll need a nylon nut. So, nylon nut again fits inside the inside the hole that on the printed part. And if you can't press it in, take a longer M5, or I'm sorry, take a longer M3, and just see if you can screw and pull it into the, I happen to have a 25mm M3 from my, okay, that seems to be working. See if we can pull it all the way through, get it into the hole. And it broke. See, that's what I was trying to tell you. You gotta be careful with this. Fortunately, I have parts I can take care of that. Well, did it break or did it just pop in place? I think it just popped in place. Man. But that's okay, because I've got printed parts anyways. Alright, let's see. No, well, I thought maybe it broke, but guess not. With that being said, we want to put the idler pulley right through here, line up. I don't know if we got enough to get it started. Don't want it too tight because you want to be able to spin the pulley to spin. And check it with your fingers, make sure it's not too tight. And it doesn't appear to be. Rolls fairly smooth. The sides, but like I said, you want to make sure that it rotates freely. Yep, that seems to be good. Time to take these X rods, smooth rods are the longer rods. They're the 370mm rods. And you've got 3 sets of bearings, or 3 bearings for those, not 3 sets, sorry. So 2 bearings go on one of the rods. And 1 bearing goes on the other rod. Like so. So now you have. So now you want to insert the rods into the printed parts. The smooth rod that has the 2 bearings goes in the top here. So be careful when you're placing these rods in here. Again, you want to be careful. You don't want to twist a rod, possibly break the part. I think that's in about as far as it can go. Get the other rod, and the bottom, the one with the single bearing goes on the bottom. And you've got a hole here, and so you want to see the rod all the way through that hole, and in this case it's not, so I need to get it. So I need to press it all the way in. There we go. Nope, not all the way in yet. So there's like I said, there's an opening on the bottom, and you check to make sure that the rod's pressing all the way in. And in my case, that is not true. You can see it, but it's not pressing all the way in. That might take a little more force. Okay, took care of that. Got the rods all the way in. Again, like I said, on the bottom, there is a window. There is a window cut out here so that you can tell that the smooth rod is up against the bottom of that window. And they're the same amount. Again, on the opposite end, you can check. There is a window in which you can tell when it's all the way to the end. I took my little rubber mallet that I have and gently tapped in order to get it the rest of the way in. So you may have to do that if you can't just push it in by hand. If you've ever assembled a 3D printer, sometimes that happens. So make sure. Again, this is the part that's the top, goes where the 2 bearings are at. So this is the idler end. See, that is going in nice and smooth. And I can check that window that the bearing is all the way, our rod, its smooth rod is all the way to the end. So that is good. On to the next step, which now we'll set this aside for the moment. We'll bring up in the X-axis stepper motor. Again, you'll know the right one because on the back it says X-axis, and also at the connector end you got a label with X on it. Very straightforward, very easy. Can't mess that up. And that's good because I will mess it up if I've been known to mess everything up. If you want me to check out your process, I'm the one that can break it. We want to take your pulley. Now on the shaft of the stepper motor, there's a flat spot. So you want to line up you've got 2 set screws on the pulley. You want to line one of those so that it's on top of that flat spot, and you do not want to push this all the way till it's touching the motor. You want a little gap, and then you want to gently tighten so that it won't rotate. Again, this is just gently getting it tight. You're not securing it yet. You'll take care of that short after. So see, I can still move it up and down the shaft, but it doesn't rotate. So here we go. Now we want to gotta make sure we got the right orientation. Orientation matters. So the lead goes on the bottom. And the bottom is the one with the 1 screw hole. Top's one with 2. Let me get this through. So I got that one attached. I kind of sort of like doing diagonals. That's just me. Yeah, there we go. And the top 2 have got a little play in them so that they can move a little bit. Okay. Now we have this with the motor. So what's next? Now you need a carriage. So this is where the belt will attach. This is the so we got some pre-assembly to do with the X-carriage. You're going to need some zip ties for this. Probably don't need all of them, but you'll need some zip ties. Actually, you need 2. Alright, so the zip ties, that's for the hold the 2 bearings. So that's the top. There's the bottom. So you got 2 zip ties. You got 4 square nuts that you'll need. Alright. So you want to place the carriage in this manner. So, okay, there we go. Now I found the holes for the zip ties. There you go. So again, that's where the 2 bearings will go. You'll notice there's a lip on this end. Let's see, and the head of the zip ties go to the inside. There we go. Got your 2 zip ties. So now we're ready to almost be done with this. All right, so make sure that this label's on the motor space because this is the back side. All right. That's how you want it to go. And make sure that they're not going to go anywhere. And everything's good. And then you want to zip tie them together. So the bottom bearing doesn't get a zip tie. If I can get my fingers to work, I'll get the zip tie. In place. And I want to make sure before I do it that I've got it completed just like they want it. All right. Pull on it just to pull it tight just a little bit with the pliers. Everything's nice and smooth. So now I'm ready to clip off the end of the zip ties. And that completes the X-axis assembly. So it's done. So now I'm going to go eat a gummy bear. Anyways, that's the X-axis assembly. So there you have it. I've completed the X-axis assembly of my original Prusa i3 Mark III. If you enjoyed this video, hey, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's okay. That way it kind of gives me an idea of what people like and don't like. But also, in addition to that, how about leaving a comment? Tell me what you really like and don't like. And that's what I'd really like to hear. And also, if you've got any suggestions, some things that you'd like to see, leave that as a comment as well. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. We just have to wait and see, won't you? Also, come on guys, come on. Press that subscribe button. You know you really want to. Come on, you like watching this old man. So until next time, when I do the Z-axis assembly, I'll catch you guys on the backside. Take care now.